Good morning. This is Palm Sunday, and of course, you never know what Miss Kelly's up to. So today, I need you to grab a piece of paper. Doesn't matter if it's a lined piece of paper, a plain piece of paper, and a pencil or a crayon, whatever you want to use to write with. And today, I'm going to encourage you to grab a pair of sneakers and put those on because we are going to be running and jumping through the book of Luke today. We're taking a break from the book of Acts today, but we're going to talk a lot about the whole book of Luke today. So grab a piece of paper, grab a pencil, grab your sneakers, and get ready to run. Throughout the video, there's going to be a picture of palm leaves. One palm leaf here and there. So there's going to be 6 of them. I want you on your piece of paper to write down where you see them. So if I showed you a picture of my dog Bugsy, there might be a little palm branch somewhere on that picture. So you would just write dog. Or if I showed you a picture of a tree, you could just write tree. That's all you have to do, but you should have 6 different places during the video where you see a palm branch. And we're going to review that at the end to just make sure that you get all 6. So I hope you do. If not, you might have to watch the video more than once. So when you hear the word king, what does that make you guys think of? For me, my first thought was, it makes me think of Burger King. Probably not the Impossible Whopper, but I like burgers, but not veggie burgers. What about playing a game of chess? The king, the whole goal is to try to protect your king. Or maybe a game of checkers. When you get across that board, you get to be kinged, right? You can say, hey, king me. Or is there a Disney movie? There's a lot of Disney movies with kings, but I have one that I'm really thinking about. It's old, super old, like even older than my kids. Yeah, you're right, The Lion King. Now, if you were to see this, would that make you think of a king? Do you remember what that is? Right. That is a manger. We use that as a symbol at Christmas time where Jesus was laid after he was born. Or what about this guy? A donkey? I don't think about a donkey as being for a king. Today, our king would ride around in a limousine or something like that. What about this guy? A horse? Yeah, maybe I could see a horse, depending what the situation is. If these soldier guys here were next to the horse, yeah, I might think their soldiers are protecting the king. What about palm leaves? We don't do anything with palm leaves now so much. We don't even have them around where we live. But did you realize, that the Israelites were looking for a king? Do you have any idea why? So years before Christ was born, the king of Rome decided that he wanted to take over the world. His name was Caesar Augustus. This is a map of all of the Roman Empire. Do you see Rome? Rome is just that little itty-bitty city there. But that king took over all this area. It was called the Roman Empire. So to keep control of all that land, he had to have his soldiers spread out all over, and they had to do what the king told them to do. So it was not unusual to see someone like this walking around the land of Israel. We are going to jump into Luke chapter 2. You ready? Let's jump. So, as we read Luke chapter 2, verses 1 to 5, things might sound a little familiar. We would have been talking about these details just a few months ago when it came to what holiday? Do you know? Have you thought about it? That's right, the Christmas story. We see that the Roman king was able to order the Israelites around. At that time, the Roman Emperor Augustus decreed that a census should be taken throughout the Roman Empire. That means he wants to count all the people. All of them had to return to their ancestral towns to register for the census. Because of that, Joseph was the descendant of King David. He had to go to what town? Do you remember? Bethlehem in Judea, David's ancient home. He traveled there from the village of Nazareth in Galilee. He took with him Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was now expecting a child. Mary and Joseph had to go to Bethlehem to be counted in their hometown. If you remember, that is where Jesus was born and placed in back in the manger. Not a place where you would put a king today, would you? All right, let's get ready. We're going to jump again. We're jumping 12 years from the birth of Christ. We're still in the book of Luke, still in chapter 2, but we're in verse 41 now. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the Passover festival. When Jesus was 12 years old, they attended the festival as usual. While they were in Jerusalem, they would have seen a lot of Roman soldiers because Jerusalem was the most important city to the Israelites and where they had a temple built for worshiping God. You'll hear that story at some point. Remember, Jesus was there trying to teach people. Even at 12 years old, he knew what his role was. All right, get ready to jump. We're jumping again. Now we've jumped 18 years, still in the book of Luke. But now we're in chapter 3, and we're at verse 23. So Jesus' ministry begins. Jesus starts performing miracles and is joined by his disciples. He spends 3 years ministering to the land of Israel. 3 years he lived with his disciples. 3 years. They got to be good friends, I would think. Hang on. We're getting ready to jump. 3 years. All right, guys, we have jumped back into the week of Passover, which is what we nowadays celebrate as Palm Sunday. As you can see, we're not at church anymore. We are visiting the Double Dab Ranch in Ripley. I wanted you guys to see a video so you could see the kind of animal that Christ would have been riding on. Again, we're still in the book of Luke. We're in chapter 19. We're kind of reading some verses from 28 all the way to 40. All right, Jesus went on toward Jerusalem, walking ahead of his disciples. As he came to the town of Bethphage and Bethany on the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples ahead, and he said to them, "Go into the village over there. And as you enter, you will see a young donkey." Now, this one's not such a young donkey, but this donkey that Christ was riding was only a year old. You'll see him tied there, and no one has ever ridden him. Untie him and bring it here. And if anyone asks why you are taking him, just tell him that the Lord needs him. So they did. They went, they got this young donkey. And sure enough, somebody asked them, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you untying my donkey for?" And they said, "Well, the Lord needs him." So they didn't complain. They just let the disciples take him. So they took the donkey back. And as he rode along, Christ rode along, the crowd spread out their garments on the road. Now, you probably can't see this. Maybe we'll take a picture of it later. Our road here is kind of muddy today. It's springtime. That's what happens springtime when you're around the farms. But the people were putting their garments down, their coats down, and using palm branches and stuff to cover up the earth and the ground to keep Christ out of the mud. We don't do those kinds of things today. People were also shouting, "Blessings on the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in heaven." Again, that's not something we would say today, but remember, as we've been talking about our whole lesson, the Israelites were looking for a king, and they were hoping that Christ was going to be that king. Now, if you look at this donkey here, he doesn't seem very intimidating. You know, I'm taller than he is. Why do you think Jesus would be riding on a donkey, and they would be thinking that he's going to be a king? It's something, again, today we don't think about. But a donkey would have been, a king riding on a donkey would have been a sign that the king was coming in peace. He wasn't coming in war. So, you see, we'll show you pictures too of Jesus sitting on a donkey. He's really big compared to that donkey. So donkeys, they're tough, they're strong, but they're not like a horse. They're not as intimidating and as fierce looking as a horse. As you can see, this horse is a whole lot bigger than our donkey Rosita was. This horse would be faster, maybe a little stronger, so a king riding on a horse would definitely be more prepared for war. So think about that. The Israelites and the Jews were looking for a king, and here comes Jesus sitting on a donkey. Next week you're going to be learning about the Easter story. You're going to see a huge difference within less than a week. Today we're celebrating Christ being the king. Next week there's going to be something totally different going on in Christ's life. And it's a very, very sad turn of events this week that we celebrate. And Natalie's going to come and review with you at the end. Hopefully you grabbed all those 6 different palm leaves that we have spread out throughout the video. If not, she'll help you remember where they are. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Oh, there you are. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video from Miss Kelly. I hope you learned a lot. We're going to talk about some of the palm leaves that Miss Kelly had hidden through the video today. There were 6 of them, and if you didn't catch them all, I'm going to tell you where they all were so that you can see some of the cool pictures and we can go over the lesson today. So the first palm leaf was in a picture of Rome. If you remember the picture of the big empire, and if you look over here, that's where Israel is. Look how far away they are. The second picture was of a manger. I'm sure you've heard the story of Christ's birth, and you heard it again during the lesson. The manger was where Jesus was laid when he was born. And that's where the second palm leaf was in the picture of the manger. And then if we go a little bit further, there was another picture of a palm leaf in the picture of the soldiers. And if you look close in the picture, see if you can recognize those two. I'm sure if you think about it, you'll be able to remember. These soldiers often were found in Jerusalem. So if you were walking around there, you'd often see these soldiers. The fourth picture that has a palm leaf in it is a picture of a donkey. That was during the Passover time when Jesus asked the disciples to go find a donkey for him that he rode into town. If you look close, there's a palm leaf in there. And the fifth picture with a palm leaf in it was one of a horse. So normally you'd see a king coming in on a war horse, but this king came in on a donkey. So that's where the fifth palm leaf was. And then the sixth palm leaf was Jesus on a donkey. If you look close, I'm sure you can find it over the palm branches, which are the leaves you've been seeing all day. That's where the name Palm Sunday came from. So that's where all of the palm leaves were. If you need to go through and find them again, that would be good. So you can take off your sneakers now, and I'll catch you guys later.
Dear Jesus, we just thank you for sending your one and only Son to earth. We are so excited when Christmas comes around and the story of Christ and the story of his birth and that gift and giving gifts to other people, Father, that we forget what is to come in the season of Easter and Lent. And we are thankful for the sacrifice that Christ made coming to earth and being with his disciples and the other people on earth for those 33 years, Father. Thank you for the lessons that he taught while he was here. We just pray for all the kids that they will think this week about having Jesus become king of their life, and that next week that they will understand the difference between Palm Sunday and Easter and the sacrifice that Christ made in that week. We thank you for all these boys and girls. Thank you for their parents, having them watch the videos. We pray that you will help them to learn to love you at this young age.